Welcome to the Plant Trainers Podcast, where we're helping people improve their quality of life through nutrition and fitness. And now, your hosts, nutrition and wellness coaches, international speakers, Adam and Shoshana Chaim.
Hey, I'm Adam Chaim.
And I'm Shoshana Chaim, and we are
Propelled by Plants. Today we bring to you episode 424, Never Give Up with Jenni Williams.
In this episode of the Plant Trainers Podcast, we feature a short but sweet summer transformation story. Today's guest started off like you and us in the beginning. They found a plant-based lifestyle at a time where it seemed like there were really no other options.
For those of you who have been with us a while, you know our summer episodes always provide great content, but are different from our regular show, giving us some downtime in the summer. So sit back and enjoy, or get out there and exercise. We'd love to hear your thoughts and how you can relate to their story over on our Instagram at Plant Trainers. We'll be back in a few weeks. Enjoy the show.
School lunches, the planning, the dinners, the new plant-based recipes. It is all too much to handle, but don't worry. We have prepared a bundle for you. We've put together our Easy Book Recipe for Parents, e-cookbook, School Lunch Planner, Meal Planning Mastery, and Picky Eater program. 4 of our most popular programs worth over $200 for just $49. Check it out in the show notes or go to bit.ly/BTSB 2021. Back to School Bundle, BTSB 2021.
Hi, my name's Jenni Williams, and I live in the tiny village of North Pekin, which is a suburb of Peoria, Illinois. I live here with my husband and my 3 children, age 8, 6, and almost 2. Today, I am grateful for meditation. I have found meditation in the last 6 months, and I found that it has transformed my life and really helped me have strong mental health and be able to get through things with a calm sense. So I'm very, very grateful for meditation. My life before whole food plant-based diet. I have been overweight since my childhood. I was an overeater. My parents had me go to Weight Watchers in middle school. And that was always really neat because I was the young kid there and it was all these older ladies and they really doted on me. And that was a really nice experience. I remember hitting my goal weight of 112 pounds. So I probably was, a lot shorter than I am now because that wouldn't be a very good weight for me currently. But really that overeating has been a component throughout my entire life. I didn't feel like I was an emotional eater because as I became an adult, I didn't eat when I was sad. I ate when I was happy. And even though that's an emotion, I didn't ever think that was emotional eating. I thought, well, I'm just happy and I'm celebrating. And that was not really the case. I also was drinking and consuming a lot of empty calories through alcohol. How I found whole food plant-based diet is my husband got a new doctor and he said that she was just fantastic and would talk her up. And so I went to see her, and on each of our first visit, she gave us this big pamphlet with all of this information on whole food plant-based. And we kind of went, well, this is really nice. There's a lot of good information in here, but this isn't for us. There's no way we'd do something this dramatic in our life. And then a few years after that, my best friend transitioned over to whole food plant-based. And so I was listening a little bit better at that point. And we did Meatless Mondays, and she just was really inspirational in that journey. She actually was taking some classes, some health and nutrition classes. I believe that she had moved to Florida. So there was a grocery store there that had hired her to help out with healthy meal planning and things like that, I believe. At that time, she got sick with cancer, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma and passed away within 6 months. So we had dabbled in it, but we weren't quite there yet. So after that, my aunt became sick. She had COPD and was morbidly obese, and she started eating a vegan lifestyle. So it was kind of neat when we finally decided to watch Forks Over Knives. I should have watched it years before. Becky told me to watch it. Heidi told me to watch it. Dr. Tate told us to watch it. And I thought, okay, it's time. And so I started watching it, and then I shut it off because I realized I wanted to share this with my husband. I wanted this to be something that we could watch together and see what we thought. So I had an idea what it was going to be because I'd been watching a little bit of it. And so I had him watch it with me the next night. And I'm kind of glancing over at him. What's he think of this? What's he think of this? And we got to the end, and I thought, okay, what do you think? And he looks at me and he says, that's it. We got to make changes. We've got to change this for our kids, for our grandkids. We're going to change our entire family tree by changing the way that we eat. And I was blown away. I didn't think I'd have such buy-in on that. I wasn't even sure I wanted to do that much until after we got to the end of the film. And I knew we needed to. So we talked about it quite a bit and decided that we were going to just make a slow transition. We weren't going to go all at once. We were just going to find some recipes and start finding what we liked in those first few weeks, and still eating mostly like we had been, but finding some recipes that we would all like and that would work for our family. And so we did that, and it didn't last but a couple days. And we went out to eat one night, and it was our favorite restaurant. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we got wings and cheese curds and all this stuff like we would usually eat. But we'd been eating a little bit healthier and making some better choices at home. And that night we laid in bed, and we both just felt gross and awful. Our stomach hurt. We felt heartburn. It just was, we thought, the food is causing that. Like, we had not been aware of that before. If we just had heartburn or felt gross, we just, well, whatever, maybe I ate too much, or didn't really give a lot of thought to it. So now we knew that that's what it was. And we decided that we didn't want to eat there anymore. And at that point, we were completely done. We went, after that, to whole food plant-based diet. Our kids were, I believe, 3 and 5 at the time. They were super supportive. They're very adventurous eaters, so that's been a lot of fun. But as far as what changed for us in the long term, the Buffalo Wild Wings story it definitely tells how we realized that we felt so bad. I didn't ever think I felt bad. My husband had a lot of gastroenterological issues, and he knew he hadn't been feeling well, but I thought I felt okay until after I started eating so well. And then I could compare, and I said, I feel so good. I have all this energy. Everything's great. And think about how I felt before, and it wasn't like that. So I didn't even realize that I felt crummy. Weight loss was a really awesome side effect of that. We weren't doing anything except eating food to fuel our bodies and things that are good for us, all whole foods, plant-based, and just weight was dropping off for both of us. So that was really exciting to have that. One other substantial thing that we saw was in my oldest daughter, Ariana. She has been a frequent puker since she was very, very young, just a baby. And we thought maybe we were overfeeding her. She was a preemie, so I wasn't able to breastfeed like I had planned on with her. I gave her some breast milk and would pump, but the majority of it was formula. And she had a dairy sensitivity that we had no idea about. She would projectile vomit. We thought we were overfeeding her. The doctor gave us medicine for acid reflux, and that never did anything. So she would take it sometimes, and we'd just stop because we saw no benefits for taking this medication.
I'm interrupting this podcast quickly because I know what you have on your mind. School lunches, family dinners, soccer practices, webinars, Zoom meetings, more plant-based recipes that you know that you want to incorporate, but you're too scared that you're going to mess up or they simply won't eat it. It is all just too much to handle unless you're fully prepared. Don't worry, I've got you covered. I've been doing and teaching it for years. We have bundled up our easy recipes book for parents. We've bundled up our school lunch planner, meal planning mastery, and picky eater program. That's 4 of our most popular ebooks and courses worth over $200 for only $49. We must be cuckoo, but we want you to feel at ease and be successful after a crazy year. So be sure to pick it up now. This deal's not going to last long, so head over to our show notes or go to bit.ly/BTSB 2021. That's bit.ly/back-to-school-bundle, BTSB 2021, and pick it up now. Back to the show.
And so we went whole food plant-based, switched all over to cashew milk and soy milk and things like that. And after a couple months, we went out to eat. We went to a place called Noodles, and we were able to eat something that worked for us. But our kids had not had anything that like mac and cheese and the standard American diet. And so we thought, it's not terrible. We've all been doing great. They can have some mac and cheese. And so they both got mac and cheese and chocolate milk. And on the way home, my daughter's going, oh, I don't feel good. And she had just kind of always not felt good her whole life. But once we quit eating dairy, she quit, complaining of a stomach ache and quit. She used to vomit maybe once or twice a week, and the doctor just said it was the acid reflux. But that stopped when we quit the dairy, and we didn't even notice it. So when she had dairy that day, we looked at each other and went, it was always the dairy. It was always this. And so we told the doctor, and they said, yeah, she sounds like she has a sensitivity to that. And so we have found that she's done really well on eating this kind of food. The other thing that I guess I want to mention is that since my friend Becky did pass away, I often think of her up in heaven looking down on me, and hope that she knows that we did this and that she's proud, because I really think that she would be if she knew that we had made these changes that she made. I just wish I could have done it while she was here, and we could have talked about recipes and all that good stuff. But she did start a really awesome Facebook page. It's taken over new ownership at this point, but it's a lot of recipes and a really good community of people. So that's always kind of nice to know that she started that, and now it's got thousands and thousands of members, and it's very active. My advice for other people that are looking to dip their toe into the whole food plant-based lifestyle or jump all in is that you want to find a handful of recipes because you're going to get hungry. You're going to have those nights where you have t-ball and soccer and all kinds of stuff going on, and you're going, what are we going to eat? So we found like 5 recipes that we just made a bunch at first, and then we'd start slowly adding stuff in and looking online. We also ditched all of our recipes before. I have always loved to cook, and I just put everything away, and I said, we're not going to do any of that right now. And after a few months, I felt comfortable to start making some changes to some of those recipes so that we could eat them again. But at first, I knew that we needed to just reset our taste buds. If we tried to make a recipe and make a bunch of substitutions, that wasn't going to work. We were just going to realize that it didn't taste like we remember it tasting. So we just wanted to start completely fresh. The other advice I have is to avoid overwhelm. We found a lot of recipes, and they would have ingredients that we had no idea. Didn't know where to buy them, didn't know what they were. And I'm like, I have to buy like 6 things that I've never even heard of to make this, veggie burger. And so we tried to just do stuff that was simple and then slowly start adding things in. And now it's all second nature to us here 2.5 years later. But it was really important to just take it slow so that we would keep going and not give up. Another thing that we have found in just the last few months, my daughter, my oldest again, got sick at the end of January, and it was almost 3 months there that she had extreme abdominal pain and near daily vomiting, and we didn't know what was wrong. And finally, by the 3rd ER visit, they hospitalized her, and they did a scope, and they realized that she's pretty borderline of having EOE, which is inflammation in the digestive tract that she's got. And they told us that while she doesn't have it, she would probably benefit from cutting dairy and gluten. Those are 2 of the top triggers for that, and people will see benefits. So we already don't do dairy, so we cut out gluten for her, which was a whole nother ball game, but we have managed well. And within just a handful of days, we had our kid back. She spent 3 months pretty well laying in bed crying and miserable and felt like nobody could help her. And so another, piece of advice that I'd want to give is don't go by a label. You don't have to be vegan or whole food plant-based. You kind of can adapt that to what you need to for your body. Everybody is different, and your specific needs may be different. And maybe you can't do gluten. Maybe you can't do nuts. Just, do what's right for you and what makes you feel good. And we definitely have found that whole food plant-based is great for us. And then even in recent months, my husband has figured out he's got a sensitivity to peanuts. So that used to be one of his favorite things. He loved peanut butter. And so that's been a really big challenge for him too. But you just got to make changes. We decided when we did this, we wanted to make these changes before we were older. And our doctor was saying, you have to make these changes. We wanted to do it on our terms. Another thing I wanted to note is that this pandemic has been really, really hard mentally for a lot of people, myself included. I'm finding ways to deal with that through daily meditation. I'm up to the 50 days now in a row. That's kind of exciting. I've been exercising daily. I can run for 25 minutes at a time, which is something I have never been able to do. So I can call myself a runner. I'm all excited. And I journal. But what I've really found through this mental health journey that COVID has kind of forced me to undertake is that I didn't have self-love before. I was always eating. I was hungry for something, and it wasn't ever food. It was actually unconditional love. And I didn't feel that due to some things that happened earlier in my life. And once I recognized that and was able to feel unconditional love from my husband, I can actually feel that for myself now. And I can finally say that I love myself very, very much. And for that reason, I don't want to eat food that isn't good for my body, that isn't doing the very best things for me. I've had weight issues my whole life. And even once we transitioned to whole food plant-based, I was still overeating. We were eating peanut butter, and when you're eating really dense foods, peanut butter, avocado, in large amounts, you're still going to be overweight. And so I think that a lot of, at least my issues with weight were tied to mental health. And in thinking about that, I'm thinking it might be for a lot of people, because once I found self-love, I just wanted to treat myself with the very best. I want to give myself the best foods and just do what I can to fuel my body and to live a long, healthy life. And I am just one person doing this wonderful way of eating, and it works for me. It wouldn't necessarily work for everybody, but I definitely encourage people to give it a try. If you're in your journey and you're feeling kind of stuck, mix it up, find some new recipes. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. There's a great community of people, and this podcast has been amazing for me. I'm just feeling more powerful and strong and healthy than I have in my entire life, and I just celebrated my 42nd birthday, so it's never too late. Thank you so much for letting me be a guest. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Plant Trainers Podcast. We want to make sure that you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform.
We really appreciate the feedback we receive from you. Every time we get a 5-star rating or review on iTunes from one of our fans, it really helps other people find us, just like you did.
Thanks so much to our patrons. To become a patron, visit us at patreon.com/planttrainers. Even supporting us with $1 really makes a difference in the quality of the show.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is @PlantTrainers. Like Plant Trainers on Facebook, join our newsletter, and check out our website at planttrainers.com for awesome recipes, a list of our services, and of course, our latest podcast.
We encourage you to email your questions to info@planttrainers.com so that we can help you improve your quality of life through nutrition and fitness.
So we hope we've inspired you today. Join us again next time,
and have a healthy day.
Or is that too corny?
It's a little cheesy.